I'm 79 years old, and there's a letter I never opened. It came in the mail 31 years ago, June. I remember because the lilacs were still blooming outside the kitchen window. I can still see the envelope sitting on the counter next to the bread box. My daughter's handwriting. Rachel's handwriting. She was 24 then, living in Seattle. We hadn't spoken in 8 months. I saw her name on the envelope, and I put it down. I told myself I'd read it later, when I was ready, when I wasn't so angry. I'm not sure what I thought being ready meant. Rachel and I had always been close. When she was little, she used to sit on the kitchen floor while I cooked, asking me questions about everything. Why does water boil? Why do leaves fall? Why do people leave? I answered what I could. She was curious, thoughtful, the kind of child who noticed things. When she got older, she started noticing things I didn't want her to see. My father and I had a marriage that looked fine from the outside. We went to church, we had dinner together, we didn't fight in front of the kids. But Rachel knew. She knew I was unhappy. She knew I stayed because I thought I had to. She knew I told myself it was the right thing to do. And when she turned 23, she told me she wasn't going to live like that. She was seeing someone, a woman. Her name was Claire. Rachel told me one afternoon in the living room. She sat across from me, hands folded in her lap, and said it like it was the most natural thing in the world. I didn't say anything for a long time. I want to tell you I was kind. I want to tell you I hugged her and said I loved her no matter what. But I didn't. I told her I needed time to think. She nodded. She said she understood, but I could see it in her face. The hoping, the fear. She left that day, and I didn't call her. Weeks went by, then months. She called a few times. I didn't pick up. She sent a birthday card. I put it in a drawer. I told myself I was protecting her, that she was confused, that if I just waited, she'd come to her senses. But I think I knew even then that wasn't true. I think I was punishing her for being braver than I ever was. The letter came that June. I saw it sitting there, and my heart started pounding. I thought maybe it was an apology. Maybe she was telling me she'd made a mistake. Maybe she was asking to come home. I wanted to open it, but I was still so angry. Angry at her for not being who I thought she should be. Angry at myself for caring so much what other people thought. Angry at the life I'd built that left no room for anything outside the lines. So I put the letter in a drawer, the same drawer where I kept her birthday card. I told myself I'd read it when I was ready. A year passed, then 2. Rachel stopped calling. She stopped sending cards. I told myself it was for the best, that she'd moved on, that we both had. But every now and then I'd open that drawer. I'd see the envelope sitting there, unopened, and I'd feel something heavy settle in my chest. I'd close the drawer again. My husband passed away when I was 63. Heart attack, sudden. He was here one morning, gone by evening. People came to the house. They brought casseroles. They said he was a good man. They said I must miss him. I nodded. But the truth is, I didn't know what I felt. Grief, maybe. Relief, too. Guilt for feeling relieved. And loneliness. Not the kind that comes from losing someone. The kind that comes from realizing you never really had them. I thought about Rachel more after he died. I thought about calling her, about finally reading the letter. But I didn't know where to start. What do you say after 16 years of silence? How do you explain that you were wrong without it sounding like an excuse? I didn't know, so I didn't do anything. When I turned 70, I started thinking about time differently. You don't think about it much when you're young. Time feels endless. You think you have all of it. But when you're 70, you start counting backwards. You start noticing how fast the seasons change, how quickly a year disappears. You start thinking about all the things you said you'd do later. I started cleaning out the house that year, going through closets, throwing things away, organizing what was left. I found the drawer again. The letter was still there, still sealed. I held it in my hands for a long time. I thought about opening it, but I was afraid of what it might say, afraid it would confirm what I already knew. I put it back. Rachel reached out again when I was 74. An email, short, polite. She said she'd heard I wasn't well. She'd heard I'd had a fall. She said she hoped I was okay. She didn't ask to see me. She didn't ask for anything, just that she hoped I was okay. I read it 3 times. I wanted to write back. I wanted to tell her I was sorry, that I'd been wrong, that I missed her. But I didn't know how to say it, so I didn't say anything. I'm 79 now. My body doesn't work the way it used to. My hands shake when I hold a cup. My knees ache when I stand too long. I don't go out much anymore. Mostly I sit here in this house, with all the things I kept, and all the things I didn't say. The letter is still in the drawer. I look at it sometimes. I think about what might be inside. Maybe she was telling me she loved me. Maybe she was asking to try. Maybe she was saying goodbye. I don't know. And I think that's the worst part, not knowing. I've spent 31 years telling myself I'd read it when I was ready, but I don't think I was ever waiting to be ready. I think I was waiting for it to not matter anymore, for the hurt to fade, for the silence to feel normal, but it never did. I think about her now more than I ever did. I wonder what her life looks like, if she's happy, if she still thinks about me. I wonder if she's forgiven me. I wonder if I've forgiven myself. There's something about time that you don't understand until you've run out of it. You think there's always more, that you can fix things later, that people will wait, but they don't. And one day you look up and realize the person you were waiting to reach is gone. Not dead, maybe, just gone. I could open the letter now. I could still read it, see what she said all those years ago. But I'm afraid it won't matter anymore. That whatever she wrote, whatever she was trying to tell me, needed to be heard then, not now. I think that's the cost of silence. Not just what you don't say, but what you never let yourself hear. I don't know if Rachel thinks about me anymore. I don't know if she remembers the way I used to braid her hair before school, or the way we used to sit on the porch in the summer, not saying much, just being together. I hope she does. I hope she remembers the good parts, even if I couldn't be the mother she needed when it mattered. If you're watching this, maybe you have someone in your life you're waiting to reach, someone you told yourself you'd call later, someone you're still angry at, someone you're not ready to forgive. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what I know. Later doesn't always come, and silence doesn't protect you from pain. It just makes sure you carry it alone. I'm 79, and I kept one letter unread. I'll probably never open it now, but I think about it every day, and I think that's the thing I'll carry with me when I go. Not what was in it, but that I never let myself find out. If this stayed with you, I'm glad you listened. Take care of yourself and the people you love while there's still time.